Hey, a playa, confidence is not something that can develop overnight. It takes time and practice to get to a point where you feel comfortable enough to talk to your crush, to make a new friend, to speak your mind and share your thoughts about something. I know this because for me, it was a journey. When I was back in school, I was afraid to talk to new people. I was afraid to kind of stand up and speak out because I thought people would judge me, people would make fun of me. And one of the big factors I really internalized was my looks. I felt like because my face was covered in pimples, because I was just kind of this goofy looking kid, no one would really take me seriously, even my own peers. But the fact of the matter is this: even if you're not someone who's attractive, even if you're not someone that people look at and say, wow, they're super good looking, they're really tall, they're really smart, they have no acne, they're muscular, all these different things, you don't need all of that to be confident. And today I'm going to explain why. For those of you that are new here, my name is Josh, and every single week I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. So if you want to learn and grow, hit the subscribe button and make sure to click on the notification bell. Something that took me a really long time to learn was that you don't need to look perfect in order to charm someone that you like. This kind of idea of being at the point of perfection is something that holds us back. We look at ourselves in the mirror, we kind of hear other people talking about us, and we feel like, yeah, well, when I'm more muscular, when I get rid of my acne, when I feel more comfortable carrying a full conversation, then and only then will I approach the person that I like. But life shouldn't really work like that. You see, everything is small steps. We're always in the process of learning and growing. So even if you're not at the point where you want to be, you're only going to get to that point by practicing, by learning from each mistake, learning from each encounter that you have. I've heard the stories of so many of you guys in the comment sections of my videos, in the Josh Speaks community, over on Discord, in my DMs on Instagram, and the one thing I noticed that commonly comes up is people creating this limiting factor, this one thing that they use to hold themselves back. They feel that once they're able to kind of overcome that specific hurdle in their life, only then can they approach the person that they like. But trust me, if you take a different approach, if you instead tell yourself, okay, this is a limiting factor that I have, but despite this limiting factor, I'm still going to make the effort to smile at my crush, to say hi, to ask them how they're doing, to engage in a 5-second conversation, to talk to their friends, to get to know people in their world. This limiting factor is still there, but I've now gotten so much closer to when I don't feel like that thing is in my way. Now I'm 100% ready to just jump right into asking them to date me, simply because I've built up all the steps I needed to get closer with them. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, there is no better time to start talking to the person that you want to start talking to than right now. I did a video all about the urgency and the need for asking someone out right now. I'll link it up over here, but the whole point behind that really is this: the longer you wait to talk to that person that you like, the more reasons you give yourself for why you can't do it, the more opportunity you give for someone else to swoop in and take them away from you. This is something I see commonly happen. It happened to me when I was in high school too. I waited and waited and waited for the right opportunity to talk to the girl that I liked, and guess what? Other guys were interested in her too. They asked her out, they went on dates with her, and I just kind of stood on the sidelines thinking, well, when is my chance? When is my opportunity? All along, I had the opportunity, I had the chance, I just didn't really want to take it. Look, I'm sure you have a very specific reason as to why just isn't really a good time for you. Maybe you don't feel like you have enough money saved up to go out on dates. Maybe you feel like you're just in a bad area where you can't really meet people. Maybe you feel like you need to lose a little bit more weight in order to feel secure around girls. Or maybe your ultimate insecurity is that you're just not tall enough. Compared to the average guy, you're a lot shorter, and girls won't take you seriously. I know these are real factors. These are real things that can create insecurities and boundaries for you. I'm not trying to disqualify them or say that they don't matter. They do matter in this equation, but you have to remember that they shouldn't limit you from making the attempts, from putting yourself out there. And I know what you're thinking, yeah, but I put myself out there. I get rejected all the time because of this thing. And let me kind of break down why that may be. Humans tend to minimize their successes and maximize their failures. We tend to focus more on the negative responses we get from people rather than the positive ones. And here's really why. When we get a positive response from someone, when someone's nice to us, we feel like that's just the standard of how you should be. People should genuinely be kind to each other. That's pretty normal. But when someone steps outside of that and they're mean to us, when they reject us, when they hurt us, when they make a mean comment, we feel like they're breaking from the norm. And that's why it stands out so much. We feel like they're doing something so dastardly, so different from everyone else, and we just don't really understand why. One thing that's so important to remember is that experience comes with time. If you feel like you're getting rejected multiple times in a row, it might just be a matter of shifting your mindset from thinking there is something wrong with me to there is something wrong with what I'm doing. Once you can kind of make that break and you allow yourself to disconnect from what you're doing and from who you are, you kind of take the burden off of yourself and you put it on, well, maybe there's a different approach I need to take. Maybe I need to start a conversation differently. Maybe I need to open the conversation differently. Maybe I need to do this thing to kind of enhance my appearance or to minimize the things that maybe I don't like about myself and maximize the things that I do. You need to start thinking about your approach a whole lot more, because that's really what you're bringing to the table when you talk to people. When you're interacting with someone, when you get rejected, a lot of times they're rejecting you because of your approach. They didn't like how you talked to them. They didn't like what you said. Maybe on first glance, they didn't really like how you appeared and presented yourself. The fact is this, guys, as time goes on, you will gain that experience. You're going to learn more from every interaction that you have, and you can make those small improvements as you go along. So many people just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and keep getting failure after failure after failure because they never make those incremental changes. I'm saying those incremental changes is how you learn. After speaking to so many of you guys for so many years, I've started to notice certain patterns emerge. One of those patterns is this, that you personally can feel like your attractiveness hinges on your opinion of your main crush. Meaning, if your main crush doesn't like you, if your main crush rejects you, or they just don't look at you in a romantic way, that could be a major blow to your self-esteem. You may tell yourself, well, look, I really like this person and they just don't view me like that, so why would anyone view me like that? This person that I'm investing time and effort into liking doesn't feel the same way about me. How can anyone else like me for my height or my looks or anything like that? They're all going to reject me for the exact same thing. If you're allowing someone else to make decisions with your self-esteem, then I think you've given up too much control. You've allowed this person to dictate how you think other people perceive you as well. So let's say your main crush, the person you've been crushing on for years, just doesn't like you because you're just not popular enough. You're really someone who's a bit of a loser or a nerd in your school. Well, then you're going to feel like no one else is going to like you for those same reasons. But trust me on this. If you take away that power that you've given this one person and you recognize everyone has their own thoughts and feelings and experiences, and anything I bring to the table is up for them to kind of interpret on their own and have their own opinion about, then you start to disconnect the idea that everyone is going to reject you for this one thing. You start to realize that this person may not care as much as that person. This person may actually like that quality about you. You start to realize that you bring different things to the table for every interaction you have, and every person can kind of observe it in their own way. Plus, you just got to keep exploring. You just got to keep putting yourself out there. I know it may feel bleak and may feel hopeless. You might feel like no one's going to love you for this one thing that's holding you back. But trust me on that. If you start to believe in yourself, if you start to emphasize your positive qualities, you start to spend less time thinking about your negative qualities, or when you do think about those negative qualities, think about how you can kind of shift the conversation or shift the focus to something else. I think you're going to have way more confidence in your attractiveness. You're going to feel like you're someone that's desirable, someone that's worth getting to know. And look, not everyone else is going to feel that way about you. You are going to run into people who are going to troll you, people who are going to criticize you, and people are going to reject you. That's part of life. As you gain that experience, as you learn from those rejections, you can really start to develop into the person you want to be. It's something that I had to experience as well. As I got older, as I started to have more interactions with girls and talk to more people, I started to focus a lot less on what other people thought of me and started to focus more on who I wanted to present myself as. And I think at some point, I kind of realized, wow, I'm comfortable and confident with who I am. I look at myself like, this is who I'm presenting to the world. This is what I have to give. If this person doesn't really like it or doesn't go with them, that's okay. I can talk to someone else. I can move on. I can focus on developing different relationships. I'm not hung up on one person's opinion of me, and I don't think you should be either. Now, what I want you to do is to leave a comment down below letting me know what is one attribute about yourself that you feel is not attractive and one attribute that you love to highlight. I'm going to answer down there too, so I can't wait to read what you guys have to say. But like I said, building your confidence is a journey. So I'm going to link up a video over here that I'd love for you to watch. Watch it as many times as you need to on your confidence journey, because I think it's going to help inspire you and motivate you to really work towards feeling attractive and feeling desirable for yourself. And that note, guys, I'll catch you next time. As always, love and peace.